a fin whale. We're going far north into some fjords that are pretty rarely visited. And what I'm hoping is that, as you can kind of see here, it's not only spectacular scenery, but there's no other boats here. And I think if we can find orcas here, it's gonna be a really, really special experience. The geography of this particular fjord was deep enough that the herrings will have a good place to hide, which means they're likely gonna be there more than in other fjords.
We had a collective understanding that we were going to go a bit further away, knowing that there was a big potential, but also we were taking kind of a risk that if we got that, it was going to be something that we got to ourselves.
We're heading into those zodiacs now, trying to see if we can get to the water with them.
When we got here, there were maybe 3 or 4 different pods of orcas, so a few dozen orcas around us. Very relaxed, very at peace, which is an amazing thing to see. But we did not get into the water with them at all for 2 hours. And the reason was, again, the expert guides we were working with here saw in the behavior that they weren't bothered. They were very relaxed, swimming all around our zodiacs, but it wasn't quite the right time to get into the water yet. You have to be extremely patient, and you can't force something that isn't there. We're only gonna do it if it's the right opportunity, if it's the right encounter, and if the whales want us to be there. During this time, I was also flying my drone to survey around and to help spot. And on the far end of the fjord, I just see blow, 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 blow on the horizon. These big blows coming in unison, almost like a formation. And at first I thought it was humpback whales because it's common to see big pods of humpback whales here doing that. But on closer look, they actually turned out to be fin whales. There are very, very, very few places in the world you can see fin whales with regularity and in the water. This is one of the few places it can happen, and it's still a pretty rare thing here. What we were seeing here was at least 10 to 12 of them barreling down like freight trains down this fjord. And it was incredibly spectacular just even seeing them from the air with my drone, because you can see them swimming in perfect formation, almost like a row of battleships coming down. So we definitely knew something could potentially be up. In the late afternoon, around 1:30, towards the end of the fading light in the day, that's when we finally saw a bait ball was forming. A bait ball of herring was coming together, made by the orcas here as they're feeding. And that's when we really saw that we had an opportunity here. So we get into the water. There are orcas everywhere. They're feeding on the herring. Spectacular encounters, and to be able to see behaviors that are so unique to see. And then all of a sudden we see about 6 or 7 fin whales in about 2 different waves come through and take big giant gulps of herring in the bait ball.
So we just found a bait ball here. No other boats around. Massive bait ball, lots of orcas, and there have been fin whales going up and down this fjord all day. But now we just had about 4 of them come through the bait ball, taking a big bite at the same time.
So pretty. Amazing. Amazing. Incredible.
They were flicking their tails. It was like so cool.
I got to see all these fin wheels just lunging through the water. It was a really beautiful image. It kind of like sums up everything that you would hope for in a trip like this.
To have something like that, the equivalent of a freight train barreling next to you to take a big gulp of herring, is something that can only happen here. And we were lucky enough to have experienced that.